A quick look at the local election results so far suggests the Labour Party is in serious trouble. And it's not just the usual midterm slump that governments go through. Something much deeper may be happening in British politics right now. These local election results are not just bad for Labour, they should be historically alarming for them. Look at the scale of what happened overnight. Reform UK didn't just pick up a few protest votes, they smashed through Labour's traditional strongholds, places that for generations were considered untouchable Labour strongholds. Places like Wigan, 22 reform gains from Labour, or Hartlepool, 12 reform gains, a clean sweep, or Tameside, 14 reform gains from Labour. These are not marginal swing areas. These are places that form the backbone of Labour's political identity for decades. And yet Reform UK has stormed through them. Now, what makes this especially significant is that this is happening under Keir Starmer, a man who was supposed to restore Labour's electability after Jeremy Corbyn. But ironically, in some of these areas, Labour is now performing worse than it did under Corbyn. That is politically extraordinary. Well, if Labour starts losing its industrial and working class base, while also failing to inspire enthusiasm elsewhere, then the entire rationale for Keir Starmer's leadership begins to collapse. And what's perhaps even more important is this. Reform UK no longer looks like a temporary protest movement. This is not UKIP 2. This is not a one-issue insurgency. Nigel Farage appears to be building something much more durable, a stable electoral coalition rooted in working and lower middle class voters, particularly in England outside London. I mean, not so much in London. We still have a problem with London because in London, so many of the voters in the local elections are non-UK national, which I've never understood why they can vote. Another important point is that the turnout has actually increased. That's one of the most important parts of these results, which means people are actively choosing reform. And if this trend continues, Labour faces a terrifying possibility, losing not only seats, but losing its cultural foundation and identity in large parts of England. That's a much bigger problem than simply losing the council elections, because once parties lose their local infrastructure, their activist networks, their council bases, and their emotional connection to the communities, rebuilding can be an impossible task. Amongst the affluent and older votes, the Conservatives still held on to places like in Broxburn. In other words, they still retain a recognisable electoral coalition. Labour, by contrast, increasingly looks squeezed from multiple directions. They're hemorrhaging working class voters to reform. And I think the reason is clear, and I'm sure you do as well. I mean, what exactly does Labour stand for these days? They're no longer the traditional party for the working man, for the working class. They're after all these different issues, the identity issues and all that nonsense. Whether one agrees with reform or not, whether you like Nigel Farage or not, the fact is that he clearly understands that a political vacuum exists and is exploiting it as best as he can. Very well, in fact. Now, of course, local elections don't always predict general elections. British politics remains volatile, but these results feel psychologically important. For years, many Labour MPs believed reform was mainly a problem for the Conservatives. In fact, they were happy because they thought reform will only dip the Tory votes. That assumption may now be collapsing. And if reform continues growing at this pace, British politics may be entering an entirely new political era. One where the old Labour heartlands are no longer Labour heartlands at all. What do you think? Was this just a protest vote, or am I right in thinking we're witnessing a fundamental political realignment in England? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thanks for watching.